Okay, guys, now we are going to be taking a look at example number 2, okay? In example number 2, what the book is doing is that you have this function over here. We know it is a quadratic function because the x, as you can see, if you see the x is raised to the second power. What the book is doing is that they are giving values, okay? They are giving values to x and substituting those values in here, and that's where they get the value for y. So for example, if x is equal to -2, what they are doing is that instead of x to the second power, they are writing -2 to the second power. That would be equal to 4. And then you multiply that times 2, and that will give you 8. Over here, -1 to the second power would be equal to 1 times 2 will give you 2, and so on. Once they have these, they are just graphing it. So you graph the first point, your first order pair would be -2 with 8, and that's the point that you have over here. You're going to count 1, 2 on the x, and you're going to count 8 spaces up for the y. The second coordinate would be -1 and 2, and that would be -1 and 2 over here, and that would be this point over here. And you're going to be doing the same for all the remaining points. 0, 0 will be over here. 1, 2 will be this point. You're going to move 1 on the x and 2 up on the y's. And then you're going to move 2 on the x and 8 up on the y's. Once you have plotted your points, you're going to trace a line, okay, joining the points. And that's where you get what we call the parabola, which is actually the graph that represents all quadratic functions, okay? The only things that you have to be careful in here, okay, is when you substitute the values in here, okay? For the exercises that we're going to be doing for homework and for classwork, I suggest that you use these same values of x, okay? So we all have the same graph. It doesn't matter what values of x you enter, okay? The parabola should look the same, only that you're going to have different points, okay? It might look a little bit wider or it might look a little bit closer, okay? But at the end, if we want to standard something, we can use these values to graph. This is the only thing that we are seeing in this example. They give values to x, and then they determine what's going to be the point for x and the point for y once you solve the equation, and that's how you plot the points.